Build the perfect week of training and then progress it. This sounds really simple and kind of counterintuitive to a point with all of the fancy jargon that's out there about periodization, splits, rest intervals, all this kind of stuff. It really is that simple. And what do I mean by this? Start with an overall goal set, okay? Once you have that overall goal set, then break it up into individual goals. Now this can be by body part, this can be by quality, be it hypertrophy, strength, so on and so forth, and then start to apply that to each and every day of the week. Once you have that clear-cut goal in mind, now you can go about sensibly picking exercises and sensibly creating a split that will work for you. This framework can be used by anybody. It doesn't have to be a field sport athlete like myself. It doesn't have to be a power lifter. It doesn't have to be a bodybuilder. It can be used by virtually anybody. Allow me to show you my current perfect week of training that is being progressed upon, and we will continue to discuss this as we go down the list. Let's start here on Monday. As you can see, I clearly laid out what the main tasks / goals of the workout are, right? We have jumping, we have an incline press that's part of a bigger progression, and we have some accessory work, okay? I myself enjoy being able to look at my program and see what exactly it is I'm trying to achieve that day, okay? So the jumping is progressible. The incline press is progressible for that variation, and the accessory work is progressible almost infinitely, however I want to do it, whether it's volume or load. But each and every one of those things has a purpose. None of it is random, it's all part of a bigger picture. Moving on to Tuesday. You can see we still have the title at the top to let us know what it is we're trying to achieve out of this workout, okay? You'll notice with me, because I am a field sport athlete, a contact sport athlete, that the power / rate of force development stuff is always going to be at the front end of my workouts. Today it will be a contrast between banded block power cleans and free block power cleans. When you start with the bands, it requires more rate of force, and then you switch over to the free, and I hope to get some contrast out of that. But this is just an example, guys, okay? We move on to the main movement, which for me right now with an injured hip is going to be one high rep set of squats, which again is not random, okay? There's a reason behind it, right? If you're healthy and your goal is hypertrophy, there's probably a good reason why you might select something like leg press, 3 sets taken to 1 RIR type thing, right? You're healthy, you're trying to get hypertrophy of the quadriceps, the glutes, the adductors, so on and so forth. There's reasons behind what we're doing. Now, we track our weights, we track our reps, okay? Just like what I'm doing with my injured hip currently, it's 1 set of 25 with this weight, then it's gonna be the next weight, so on and so forth, okay? Then again, you will see kind of some accessory movements at the end of this workout. I believe there's actually chin-ups after the squats. Again, progress. Why? What is the purpose, right? Am I just picking chin-ups because it's fun? No, I'm picking chin-ups because I want hypertrophy of the biceps. I've done tons and tons of pull-ups, but the chin-up is a variation that allows me to bias a little bit more towards biceps in hopes of getting more hypertrophy to the biceps. Finally, again, just like on Monday, you'll see that there is an accessory hypertrophy movement at the end, right? Just like we stated, biceps being the main focus, if you will. We went with a chin-up. Now we're gonna go with an incline bench dumbbell curl, which is strongly biasing the stretch position of the bicep under load, again in hopes of building a bigger bicep. Moving down the list to Wednesday, We have another variation of incline with the end goal being the big incline press. Now, this is a good time to talk about, is this something that would work for everybody? No. Again, we go back to square one. What is your goal? What are you trying to do? I'm trying to build a big incline press, so I'm going to up the frequency, change variations, and try to progress all those different variations in hopes of some correspondence / carryover to the end goal of the big incline straight weight press. So we start with the banded pin press. It is a low pin press right off the chest with the blue bands. I even have a luggage scale, so I can put the bands, I can put it into my luggage scale and see what is the actual amount of weight. And obviously it's not, an exact science or anything like that, but at least allows me to know what is the weight of that barbell at the top. And I track it and I try to beat it every week with that progression, okay? I have a lower special strength exercise in there. That is absolutely borrowing from this t-shirt that I'm wearing, Westside Barbell, and their methodology. Louis Simmons was big into special strength exercises and this kind of thing. Currently, it is a Zercher squat off of pins with the bands, with the same blue bands and actually the same pin setup that my incline is. I have my own reason for using that exercise, and that's I want to build up that range of motion. It's very sport specific to contact situations in my sport of rugby that I play. And I also feel that my back is weak in that position, and that's hindering my deadlift, my clean, anything pulling the barbell off the floor. So that's why I chose that exercise. We finished the workout with, you guessed it, a single joint hypertrophy accessory exercise. I go with either Lou raises or good old, normal lateral raises for my deltoids. And again, I try to progress that because I'm using that to try to build muscle. Thursday, you'll see, is completely specific to me because I play rugby. So I'm currently in the rugby off season. We play touch rugby for conditioning purposes. I don't do anything else gym / fitness related on that day. That's it. That's the day. For me, for you, right? It could look something completely different. Active recovery, maybe some sort of other type of fitness that's not in the weight room, right? Friday, you'll notice an AM/PM structure. Again, this works for me. I work in a gym, so I'm blessed enough to be able to use that facility as well as the one I'm sitting in at my house right now. So I can do stuff like that. You might not be able to, but again, this is just providing an example of a framework, okay? You'll see hip PT. I'm doing my own physical therapy for my greater trochanteric hip issue, the lateral hip pain. So I have a series of exercises that I go through, and I do, you guessed it, progressions on those as well. If I'm doing isometrics, I want to try to hold them longer. I want to try to do more weight on my overcoming isos, all that kind of stuff. Progression is king, okay? When I'm done with that in the morning, it takes me about 20-30 minutes tops to do that session. I'll come and do a traditional upper body workout, okay? The main movement of this workout will be the third of 3 incline press variations that's being progressed upon. It's a touch and go chains variation where I'll work up to the top single, and then I'll do drop set volume work after that. I then go on to a big lat compound movement. I believe I'm doing Penlay rows. That could easily be interchanged with weighted pull-ups. We finished that workout with some tricep extensions, which will be the second time I hit a tricep isolation. It's going to be a different movement than the initial one, but it doesn't have to be. And the reason that I do it that way, or quote unquote my rationale behind changing exercises, is when it stops going up / it stops becoming applicable to keep adding weight, especially for single joint movements, then it's time to change the exercise to something else. Don't sandbag it. Push yourself, find where your working weight limit is, and then start the whole process again. Start progressing. Saturday is kind of a sports-specific day for me. It's power conditioning, I call it. So that will be something like a barbell complex. For those of you that don't know what that is, it's just basically a circuit. It's a certain amount of movements in succession. I try to beat times. I try to add weight. Again, progress. No matter what, track and progress, okay? I run hill sprints, and then I do some accessory work as well. I do easy bar curls, which I load those up pretty heavy right now. Those are not really your standard, bodybuilding type of easy bar curls. They're almost like a compound movement the way I do them. Because again, my goal set is different than your goal set. My goal set is to be an explosive nightmare for people on a rugby field, right? If my goal set was in the realm of just building biceps, I might hit my incline bench dumbbell curls again. That would probably be a better option, right? I do some forearm work, I do some neck work, again, very specific to me. And for our final day for my current quote-unquote perfect week of training, we have our big compound movement, which is a banded block barbell deadlift taken to task failure, okay? It is an AMRAP set, as many reps as possible. I didn't just randomly select a weight to start the process, nor should you when you're doing something like that. You should find what your limit is. You should have a good idea of what that is. And then I would say anywhere between 70 to 80% of that, start there. Do as many reps as you can. I would say if you got it for 20 or above, it was too light. 15 is probably about your sweet spot. Then from there, you start to go up in weight and still try to hit as many reps as possible. Then you can go back to lightweight, add weight from there, try to beat reps. There's all kinds of ways you can run these progressions, guys. After that, I do another lat hypertrophy. I can choose either weighted chins, weighted pulls, or Pendlay rows, again, something along those lines. And then we have some more delt hypertrophy. So if you made it to this point in the video, first of all, thank you for listening to some random guy in his garage tell you about programming. This is just what's worked really well for me. We're going to go ahead and recap some of the key concepts that I want you guys to take home here. Okay, number one concept is progressive overload. Track. Okay, number two is sensible exercise selection that fits your goal. Okay, number three would be you need to know when it's appropriate to rotate exercises, okay? And what do I mean by that? Am I going to do a banded block barbell deadlift forever, for the rest of infinity? Of course I'm not, okay? There's going to come a point where it is no longer applicable to run that movement because I have milked all of the juice out of it that I can, okay? Now, is it time to go to something radically different after that? Probably not, because I built a good amount of momentum and I've achieved what I wanted to achieve out of that, whether it be hypertrophy, strength, power, whatever, okay? A better, more sensible approach would be change it slightly. Use a different band tension. Go to a different block, pull from the floor, go to a deficit, something along those lines, and then start building that steam train momentum right back up again. And that right there is applicable to all of these different exercises, okay? And all of these different modalities. This concept kind of goes against what we've been taught about we have to do periodization. We have to change this, we have to change that. We don't have to change anything because if it's working, you ride it until it doesn't work anymore, okay? And when you adopt this style of training, what you'll come to find is you don't have to worry about what comes next anymore. The decision is already made for you. Your body is going to tell you where to go with your training. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you got something out of this video. We'll see you in the next one.